World War II, the bloodiest conflict in history that claimed millions of lives and changed the course of history forever. But today on the Andy Curry channel, we are going to be discussing which was the best German tank. This is the earliest tank on our list, with it being developed in 1934. It weighs 5.5 tons and had a Krupp M305 petrol engine, which could produce 57 horsepower. It was very lightly armed, only armed with two 7.92 MG13 machine guns. The tank would see combat in Spain, Poland, France, Denmark, Norway, Russia, and North Africa. The Panzer I command tank was developed in 1935 as more of a mobile command post than a tank, as the name infers. It weighed 6 tons, had a Maybach NL38TR petrol engine, and could produce 100 horsepower. It also had a radio and transmitter, which most tanks didn't have at the time. Its armament consisted of a 7.92mm MG34 machine gun. It was retired from the German army in 1942. It was developed in 1935 and weighed 10.7 tons, had a Skoda T11 Zero petrol engine, and could produce 120 horsepower. Its main armament was a 3.7 KWK 34T L40 gun. The Panzer 35T was ahead of its time, although some of its complex features proved unreliable. A total of 219 tanks of this kind were confiscated by the Germans during the takeover of Czechoslovakia in 1939. The Germans then copied the design and used it in Poland, France, and the Soviet Union. By late 1941, a shortage of parts, unreliability, and difficulty with the cold weather led to the tank being withdrawn. The Panzer II was developed in 1937. Although being more heavily armed than its predecessor, the Panzer I, the Panzer II was more designed for training than actual combat. But between 1939 and 1940, it was Germany's main battle tank. The tank weighed 9.7 tons and had a Maybach HL62YR petrol engine, which could produce 140 horsepower. Its main armament was a 2cm KWK 30L55 cannon. The Panzer 38 was developed in 1938 by Czechoslovakia. It weighed 11 tons and had a Praga EPA petrol engine. It could produce 125 horsepower. Its main armament consisted of a 3.7cm KWK 38T L47.8 gun. After annexing Czechoslovakia, Germany continued the production of the Panzer 38, recognizing that it was powerful and more reliable than the Panzer I and II. Over 1,400 were built and used in France, Poland, and the Soviet Union until 1942. Its chassis was reused for a number of other tank destroyers. The Panzer Als E was developed in 1937 and weighed 22.2 tons. It had a Maybach HL 120 TRM petrol engine. It could produce 300 horsepower. Its main armament consisted of a 3.7 KWK 36L 46.5 gun. At the outbreak of the war, the Panzer III was intended as the primary German anti-tank vehicle. The 3-man turret gave the German crew a definite advantage over their opponents. The Panzer III proved adequate in Poland and France, but it soon came clear that it needed greater firepower. The Panzer IV was developed in 1937 and weighed 22.4 tons. It had a Maybach 120 TRM petrol engine and could produce 300 horsepower. Its main armament consisted of a 7.5 KWK 37L 24 gun. The Panzer IV was originally intended to support the Panzer III, using its short-barreled gun to destroy unarmored targets such as anti-tank guns and fortifications. It soon became clear that it would take a larger gun and heavier armour, and that both would be needed to counter new threats. The Panzer Als L was developed in 1937 and it weighed 25.4 tons. It also had a Maybach HL120 TRM petrol engine that could produce 300 horsepower. Its main armament consisted of a 5cm KWK 39L 60 gun. The Panzer III's armour and gun were both upgraded after combat experience in France. This version of the Ausl had a 50mm armour and 5cm gun. It fought in the Soviet Union and North Africa, but was replaced by the Panzer IV from 1942. The final Panzer III variant, mounted with the same 7.5cm howitzer as the first Panzer IV. The Panther was a late-war medium tank. It was developed in 1943 and weighed 51 tons. It had a Maybach HL 230P30 petrol engine that could produce 700 horsepower. Its main armament consisted of a 7.5 KWK 42L 70 gun. Designed in response to the T-34, the Panther was more heavily armoured and boasted far greater firepower. First used at the Battle of Kursk in July 1943, it was fast and manoeuvrable, with strong frontal armour and a very accurate and powerful gun. However, like the Tiger, it was often unreliable and engine fires were common. The Tiger I was one of the most known tanks of World War II. It was developed in 1942 and weighed 63.8 tons and had a Maybach HL 210P45 petrol engine that could produce 650 horsepower. Its main armament consisted of an 8.8cm KWK 36L56 gun. The Tiger I was the product of Germany's fighting experience in France in 1940. Heavily armoured and equipped with a powerful 8.8cm gun, it was a formidable opponent for Allied tank crews. However, the Tiger was not only expensive, but its mechanical complexity also made it prone to technical problems. Only 1,347 were ever built. The King Tiger, the most formidable tank of World War II, and the latest tank on our list. It was developed in 1944 and weighed a staggering 76.2 tons. That's the same as 6 double-decker buses. It had a HL 230P30 petrol engine that could produce 700 horsepower. Its main armament consisted of an 8.8cm KWK 43L 71 gun. The Tiger's frontal armour could withstand any Allied anti-tank weapon, and its 8.8cm gun was a threat even at long range. However, its engine was unreliable and only 489 were produced, not enough to change the tide of the war. My M pick for the best German tank was the King Tiger. And I know before you all start spamming, oh, it was unreliable, or oh, not enough were produced, but it's such an iconic tank and its armour was amazing. It could withstand any anti-tank weapon the Allies had. Its gun was amazing, and it was probably the most formidable tank of the war. And I found it hard not to pick this one, because it just stood out from the most. So, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to leave a like and comment your favourite tank. But until next time, this is me, Andy Curry, signing off.